After Mandarin and Spanish, which is spoken as an official language in more than 20 countries, English stands as the third most popular and widely spoken language all over the world. Because of this, it is natural for people coming from English-speaking countries to expect English speakers even in the most unexpected places. I've received countless questions about whether there are English taught courses or English universities in Brazil. Today, I've got the answer you've been looking for. So sit back, relax, and let's analyze it. Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel. Thanks to all my returning subscribers. Thank you for your love and your loyalty. I'm sincerely grateful. If you're coming across this channel for the first time, you are warmly welcome. This is Knowledge Plus. It's a channel dedicated to truthful information about moving abroad and other subjects. I'm glad you clicked this video. Please, let's be friends. Kindly subscribe to the channel, like the video, and turn on the notification bell. Thank you in advance. If you've been watching this channel for some time now and you are yet to subscribe, please kindly subscribe. Content and the video production can only get better. To start with, Brazil has more than 300 public universities, which includes federal universities, state universities, and what is known as municipal universities. All of them are recognized by the Ministry of Education, known as MEC or MECI, and are all funded by the government. This figure I'm talking about excludes private universities. Now, these public universities play a crucial role in providing accessible higher education across the country. While the Brazilian constitution doesn't explicitly state a language policy for school, it does establish Portuguese as the official language of the country, meaning that all public education must be conducted in Portuguese. However, the National Education Guideline and Framework, popularly known as Lei de Diretrizes e Bases da Educação Nacional, mandates that at least one foreign language, typically English, be taught in schools, making it a de facto language policy for foreign language education in Brazil. So the question is, are there public universities in Brazil that teaches solely in English? The answer is no. There is no public school that does that. However, there are few schools that have some programs taught in English. These programs are not common and very competitive. Also, these programs are not exclusively taught in English. You will still need to do some aspects in Portuguese. So, like I said, it is not exclusively in English. However, Brazilian government is keen on internalization, that is the process of integrating intercultural into higher education. Considering Brazil's potential to attract international students and promoting cooperation in research, internalization of curricula and international publication is becoming popular. According to CMSP, an entity that represents higher education institutions in Brazil, they strongly believe that internalization has a great influence on teaching process, so they allow mutual learning in cooperation and training, because this will help to reduce current imbalances that is noticeable in higher education in Brazil. So one of the things that they do is to come up with a policy to encourage Brazilian higher institutions to participate in teaching learning processes using the best global parameters of higher education. They understand the influence of internalization on research, publications, exchange of strategic information, and projects that can bring regional and social impact. This is the biggest reasons mobility programs such as PEC-G, GCUB are being rolled out. According to CMS, mobility program will be necessary to ensure greater engagement and to set foreign language training for Brazilian students as a priority. Like I said earlier, considering Brazil's potential as a destination for international students, the offer of courses, disciplines, and activities in foreign languages, especially in English, shall be increasingly encouraged. In addition to internship opportunities, the higher education laboratories or companies in Brazil and short courses of Portuguese as a second language will be encouraged. A while ago, I mentioned in one of the videos that my lab is working tirelessly to attain PEC-G, and in one of the meetings we had, the coordinator asked me that since the time I've joined the lab, what ideas do I think could better increase the laboratory visibility worldwide. Now, this is a lab that publishes in high impact journals every time. So I told her that there's a need for the lab to admit more international students and encourage teaching of some courses in English. She was so pleased with my response that she even displayed my response in another general meeting with stakeholders. The point I'm driving is this: almost all the courses are taught in Portuguese, but efforts are in place to give room for more programs to be administered in English. As I speak, majority of science conferences in Brazil has made it compulsory for poster presentation to be done in English. So if you are coming from English speaking country, after a period of 6 months, you should be at comfortable level with Portuguese language if you put your mind to it. Also, if you are planning on relocating to Brazil and you are perturbed about which school to enroll your child, look, there's nothing to worry about. There are primary and secondary schools that teach solely in English. In my city, for example, there's a school called Ava. It's an American kind of school and they teach solely with English. We have a lot of them scattered across different regions in Brazil, but they are usually private. I'm not referring to those that advertise themselves as bilingual, because from experience, most of the private schools that call themselves bilingual only offer English as one of their subjects. Majority of them don't teach all the subjects in English. In fact, from personal experience, some of those schools have staff that can't speak in English. The bottom line is that there are many private schools where everything is done in English, including everything you want to think of. The major downside to it is that most of them children go to school by 7:30 a.m. and return back 11:30 a.m. The few ones that are full-time are very expensive. Some even charge in dollar. One of those is Escola Americana do Rio de Janeiro, and the greatest school in São Paulo. They offer curriculums entirely in English, preparing students for international university. I stumbled on some of these schools and I realized that these schools only cater for the elite and wealthy class in the society. Also, while there are some private universities in Brazil that offer programs in English, such as the Escola de Administração de Empresas in São Paulo and the Pontificia Catholic University of Rio de Janeiro, these institutions are very expensive. Tuition fees can be prohibitive for many students, making these options accessible primarily to those who are financially well off. Again, only few programs are offered in English or semi-English, semi-Portuguese. I've written and received many emails, especially from Pontificia Catholic University, so I know what I'm talking about. In addition, USP, University of São Paulo, and the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro offer a few graduate level courses in English, but the vast majority of their programs are taught in Portuguese. These English taught courses are limited and mostly cater to exchange students or specific research programs. Now, this doesn't mean that we don't have lecturers or professors that speak English. A whole lot of them in almost all the universities do, but they can't teach with this language at the expense of other students that don't speak or understand English fluently. One of the strategies put in place in most schools in Brazil is that they will allow you to present your seminar in English, but other classes are taught in Portuguese. For those interested in studying or living in Brazil, learning Portuguese is essential. You can't escape it. The good news is that Portuguese is not a hard language to learn. With dedication and consistent practice, you can reach an intermediate level within 6 months to 1 year. Here are a few tips to help you get started. Just surround with the language as much as possible. Listen to possible music, watch Brazilian shows, and practice speaking with native speakers if possible. And if you are at the planning stage of your relocation, start using language learning apps like Duolingo or Babbel to practice daily. Better still, enroll in a Portuguese language course, either online or in person. And I cannot overemphasize consistency. Make sure to practice speaking, listening, reading, and writing every day. You could decide to listen to some podcasts in Portuguese. Learning Portuguese will not only help you in your academic endeavors, but will also enable you to navigate the city, communicate with locals, and make friends. Personally, learning Portuguese is a valuable skill necessary to make the most of your experience in Brazil. Don't let the lies that public university teaches in English fool you. Be prepared to immerse yourself in the local culture and language. Muito obrigado por assistir. Se você gostou deste vídeo, não se esqueça de curtir, comentar e se inscrever no nosso canal para mais. Até a próxima. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to this channel for more content. See you next time. Ciao, ciao.